welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons and lose people to happier occasions. Losing people to happier occasions actually makes me feel better. We are short clarity because anniversary. Pictures of Ren Fair. That was adorable. Previously, the Cupcake Coterie hunting for reagents to empower their various weapons to be able to hopefully slay a god. Their first task is living fire. But they have to get to the place where the living fire is and then survive the place with the living fire because it's kind of. If it wasn't already dangerous enough because, living fire, it's also. Cragvere's having some problems. We don't have any real reports of what the problems are. We might get some because, as Smeagol rightly remembered, Hazel's sibling, Riswin, is currently scouting things out. But of course, where they're going to send a report to is another thing entirely. But they're still en route. They had to go via Demille because Cragvere is way up north, and trying to get there across Baronsveer would not have been particularly easy. You don't even know where the entrances to Cragvere are at that point. But so far it's been. There's some kind of very large shadow beast out there. That's a problem. There was the Kraken. You dealt with the Kraken. That that took some doing. That took some significant doing. And then wound up visiting a kobold settlement, having a potluck, because potluck is apparently kobold tradition, and got some various bits of information up to and including there is a kobold city, a city of evil kobolds, as it turns out, standing in your way, and they know you're coming. I mean, there's a couple of days trip to get to that point anyway. There's a bit of a trek. And you've got those couple of days to think about how you're going to approach the problem. One of the things Alice A mentions en route is push comes to absolute shove, and assuming enough height, I can probably scout out well enough to get a map of the city together, at least vaguely.
It might be helpful an option if we can get it.
There's also the fact that they do know of us and that we're supposedly going to be in the area, but they don't know that we're here yet.
I would have thought
Like, they
that
know to be on the lookout for folks. Like, they have a mystical wanted poster.
the thing, and the thing is, what we don't know is how many more haruspicy candidates they have. Because if I was the sort of evil wizard that was going around taking the guts out of people to read the future, I'd want enough to be doing it daily for a while. Or at least bi-weekly. Just to keep informed.
Especially if they think we're a threat to whatever they're doing.
Well, that
It
is the
also
thing.
depends on how sensible they are about double, triple checking prophecy, as religion, faith is a powerful motivator.
Yes, but at the same time, they would want to do their god the courtesy of keeping updated if the god is asking them to kill us. Not to mention the fact that even if they don't have captives, though we should probably at least consider looking for captives, there is the possibility that if they are devout enough, some of them might volunteer for the privilege to have their entrails used as a warning that we are closer than they'd like us.
Yeah, that's. I'm not discounting that. I am saying that all I'm saying is that they, sometimes people in faith space just latch onto that one prophecy and then don't let go and don't double check.
All I'll say is, yeah, and that would be great if they did that. But once again, please step in if you think I'm wrong here. But we have to make the assumption that it's better to be prepared for the worst case scenario than to think, oh, they're just going to be fanatics. They're just going to latch onto that one prophecy. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, we can't.
Mhm.
I just wanted to put that out there and basically just hope that maybe we'll get lucky in that case. We're still checking, but like what I would give for them to be the kinds of
Simple.
fanatic stories that even the folks on Mount Palor were telling us about as warnings, how not to do it.
At which point, sure is. While I would generally speaking agree with you, um, how many times have you all pissed off Tiamat?
Yes.
Quite a few at this point.
Yes.
Don't you think that some of Tiamat's orders might well be to make absolutely sure because she wants us very, very dead? Okay,
Knowing
fine,
our
she
luck,
wants you all very, very dead. I haven't annoyed her quite that much yet. Give me time.
you might
That is
have by
good word.
association at this stage.
All I'll
I
say
was
is,
gonna say.
yeah, yeah, hi.
Mhm.
Still, I haven't. It feels better when you've done. Does it not feel better when you've done something to directly earn the ire that you're officially getting? To be
I
fair,
mean,
yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to just kind of be vaguely in the way of the Queen of Handbags.
Yeah, it's to be fair.
A
Thinking
whole other
about
thing to have actually gotten in the way on purpose.
the thing is though that either way, she will go out of her way. Remember, she sent a dragon directly after my ass, and
Vengeful petty bitch.
all I did was help you into a temple.
We are double, triple checking regardless of our hopes.
Yes,
Um,
I believe the point was please underline that they are hopes, not possibilities. You always mention them like they're possibilities. Perhaps, humble, is it too much to hope that?
Words, I can use them maybe eventually.
Yes, that's it. Consider this another teachable moment.
Already doing it.
Very good. Sorry, Dalvin.
yeah, no, I was just in terms of scouting. Would Arcane Eye be useful as well as an additional, like both of us, me doing that, you and you, Alice,
Where would you be
doing
putting
your thing?
it?
Well, I mean, I can move it around, so and there's no limit to the distance, so I mean, I can just start and move with it, or move it rather. Excuse me.
I mean, it might be, but it might be a little hard to draft any kind of. Because I believe what Alice is talking about is getting an aerial view to get a map.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Whereas that will get everything. Getting street level doesn't help us very much with that. You won't
I'm
know.
not. Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure if I can go up with it
I
very
mean,
much.
you might be able to go up, but
Yeah.
it starts getting a little bit complicated at that point.
Yeah, that was the problem with I couldn't. That's why it would have been difficult for me to get it inside the What are we calling that again? What, Mecha Tiamat? Was that what is that what we're calling it?
We're just sticking
Yeah.
with construct for the time being, or at least I am.
Oh, that works. Okay. Yeah. Nah. Okay. I'll keep it in mind, but yeah, we won't. Good idea. Good point.
Of course. I mean, I think the best way of handling an arcane eye situation might be assuming I can map out the area, we look at the map, we figure out the best routes, then you move an arcane eye around for how long does that thing last?
Up to an hour.
Okay. That is a whole lot better than trying to use it to map out an actual map of the area. Once we have decided on the best potential routes, you send your arcane eye along them to see what kind of activity is on them.
And
Yeah, you trace the route so that
potentially,
we can see
yeah.
it ahead of time.
And potentially, from street level, also scope out where you were mentioning captives, where any might be. Assuming you can't tell from above. I mean,
Yes, I think it would probably be best to not bring anything magical in the same area as potential captives unless we're going in with a view to removing them. Because we don't know what kind of wards they might have.
point. Yeah. Yeah, as you were speaking that, I kind of figured where you were going. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because we
You're
might
right.
be
You're right.
hoping
You're right.
for one thing, but we have to be assuming they're going to be poked into being paranoid by the Queen of Handbag.
Which point sure is. I know that I'm speaking the most. I'm probably the only one of you all that can actually look at things from the point of view of someone who might actually want to gut people to read the future. I am just a bit of a pragmatist that way. If I was going with that sort of omen magic, I would probably want to use magically empowered beings for that.
So sorcerers,
It's a
warlocks.
well, sorcerers, wizards, whatever, but particularly I would imagine those gifted by other gods. Because that is a worthy sacrifice to their god.
And
You,
more magical
Darwin.
oomph, as it were.
Oh, that's a thing. Your magic's probably tinged a little bit Bahamut.
Ooh, that might make it even more
Just enough, they're going to be on your ass.
dinged.
Maybe you don't want to put an arcane eye there.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Sorry, it was a very good idea right up until I realized that these are Bahamut these are Tiamat fanatics.
Yeah.
They might be able to literally smell the Bahamut on you.
More to the point, they might be able to
Smell it on the eye.
on the magic, yes.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing, but yeah, it may very well be. I haven't studied that enough to determine whether or not it is.
I've used various forms of magical detection, and if you're skilled enough at it, or there's someone or something skilled enough to be able to look at the very nitty gritty, you can get a feel for what someone else's magic feels like, or looks like, or senses like, I suppose is the only way I can put it. Even Barnabas's echo has a signature.
This is true.
It's
true.
It's
This
bizarre,
is true. Having stood next to it, yeah, it does.
Probably a different level than I'm getting it. It's very foreign. I'll put it that way. I just thought you might be interested.
Yeah.
Not a judgment, just a
Oh no, just a statement of fact.
point of trivia, I suppose, is the best way of putting it.
Absolutely. And considering I've never heard, read. I don't think anybody's run into anyone else who can do this. And I'm kind of not from here. And it's interesting.
I've heard about things like that. They're very rare, and they don't turn up here very often. Normally, it's people who hop planes a little too
Regularly?
recklessly. Because regular is fine if you take all. There are some people who cast who transport to another plane multiple times a day, but they do it with all safeguards in place. That's what a spell is. When you
Yay,
break
plane
it,
shift.
well, when you break it down like wizards do to its sheer mathematical data, whether you're shoving those safeguards into being through sheer force of will, talking magic into it by sheer force of personality, or asking your god to bless the stupid thing you're about to do, it's all about setting the safeguards in place. But there are some people who are more careless about the magic. And to be fair, 9 times out of 10, they simply blow up or become very, very flat. They don't even splatter. They just become very, very flat.
Sounds like the bad result of a teleport spell just applied to plain stuff.
Well, that's the thing.
It's also like plain stuff is really high-end magic, so if someone can just do that.
And by the way, when I say made flat, they're usually still alive. They're just missing a dimension. They don't stay alive for very long, mind you.
Oh.
But they do stay alive long enough to have severe
Regret
regrets.
everything?
Severe regrets. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's
You
for sure.
you lucked out.
I mean, the way
yeah.
you describe getting launched through the planes of reality sounds like you got loaded into a plane shift spell that had the target set to random, because most plane stuff needs something from that plane, or at least a familiarity with it, to go there in the first place. You just got grabbed and stuffed against the barrier until you went pop through it. I'm surprised you didn't turn into what happens to things that go through a sieve.
And to be honest, it wasn't just one plane.
You bounced off of how many, did you say?
Two or three, apparently, from what little I can tell.
Ow!
Sure. Oh, it hurt.
Again, the sieve thing is brought to mind. I'm surprised you didn't have imprints left from bouncing.
He does. That's what the echo is.
Outside of the metaphysical.
No,
I meant physical.
the echo is a physical thing.
Okay, can we not pick apart every iota of my words once?
No, unfortunately. Have you met me?
And Barnabas summons the echo and flicks Hazel in the ear.
Clarity is...
No, I'm done. Excuse me. I'm just going to get up and walk away.
Yeah, Clarity is kind of... On the one hand, I should be comforting her, but on the other hand, I was really interested in how that conversation was going. Puts away the notebook, wanders over, hug.
No.
Yeah.
Not gonna bother saying anything. Clarity's smart enough to know that it's really just... But it might be enough for Hazel the Wise to understand that there are just people who need to understand, and thus they poke everything with sticks.
Yeah, nope, she gets it. She's
Yeah, and that's why
One too many hits of the pedantry button.
Clarity is just. I'm still walking, so after the glump, it's just arm around shoulder squish. And I'm gonna have to ask you to make me a dex check with advantage because you have help, but walking with arms around somebody is not a. Actually, wait. Let me clear my text chat first. Stupid chat log. Okay, go for it.
You want it to be a save or a check?
Check.
Because both are bad.
Yes, but it's a check because you're doing a thing, not saving against a thing. No, with advantage. Because Clarity's helping you.
There you go.
You're a complete klutz. You just wanted to have that 7, but Clarity knows your klutziness well enough to be able to keep you from tripping over your own feet for the rest of the.
Yeah, the universe apparently really wanted 7.
Yeah, but you have a Clarity. She may not be here, but she is here in spirit, keeping you from tripping over your own feet.
One sec.
Yeah, the couple of days that you guys spend on the march are not fun on a number of levels. I mean, because on one level it's a long walk, and it's tunnels, and particularly those who are particularly devoted to sun gods, it's not great. Probably also not great for the tall either, because some of those tunnels are a little shorter than others. There are some, in fact, that you've kind of got to either walk single file, or in some cases, there was one particularly bad case where you had to shuffle sideways for a good 200 yards. Actually, I'm going to ask for athletics checks for those. I'm going to spare Clarity. I'm not going to roll for Clarity. Fuck it. She has help. I don't care.
One thing I'm useful for, it's
Oh,
those.
jeez.
Oop.
That is a 2 on the dice. That is unfortunate.
At least it's not a nat 1.
There are too many people who could get zeros on athletics checks. Seriously. No one is entirely sure how it happened,
Oh no.
but particularly given that Barnabas and Alice are managing despite extra appendages, although Alice needs a pretty significant gap back and forward. What's going on?
Cats are
Ah.
meowing.
If you tell the cat to shush, the cat is just going to meow louder. Anyway, yeah, Alice needs a bit more space either side because she has to kind of
The wings,
extend the
yeah.
wings a bit so they're not getting crushed. Barnabas, mostly it's the armor that's keeping him from getting some significant scrapes and rubbing off of fur in some places. Somehow, Ava manages to stumble over her own feet at one point, twist sideways in a weird kind of way, and get stuck. And Alice doesn't have the maneuverability to help at this point. Guys? Can somebody see what... Yeah, Darvin cannot. Darvin's managing, more or less, but is managing with one arm kind of stuck behind, and if Darvin stops or tries to back up in any way, he's probably going to dislocate something. But he's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Been paranoid about instruments. That's why.
Well, thankfully, you can stick those in bags of holding, and probably would have had
Mm-hmm.
to. I'm tempting fate. Give me another athletics check. Pray you roll better.
I don't know what they.
Actually, no.
He has a lot to say.
Well, we can't hear him, so that's fine. Okay, you do take 4 points of what I guess probably constitutes bludgeoning damage, but is really, honestly, more along the lines of sprained muscle damage. Because you wiggle back into a position where you can keep moving, but you've wrenched something to do it. You finally come out of that bit, and Alice is kind of looking at you like, you good?
Yeah.
Please don't bullshit the Azamar. Boops on the nose, and you get your 4 hit points back.
Nah.
You need those limbs to do things besides clamber around. You rely on yours for shooting. You need the actual manual dexterity. I just hit stuff
Anyway, you were
when
fine.
I'm not slapping the life back into you people. I love all of you. Don't take that the wrong way.
Clarity really is just, you're so cute when you're grumpy. I'll say leans over to Clarity. You know, you get it so much less often than I do. Enjoy it while you can. Kisses Remy on the forehead and moves on. You gotta leave him laughing in times like this. There are a couple of situations where those of you with dark vision notice that the shadows are moving a little bit wrong on the ceiling. And whenever that happens, I'll say either casts light or, on one memorable occasion, just extends the wings and lets them glow for a minute. Unless anybody wanted to fight cloakers.
Nah, I think
Probably
we do.
not.
I'll definitely take going without doing that.
Especially in crammed quarters like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally want to beat the snot out of cloakers, but we don't really have time for that.
I'd rather not get eaten again. Or swallowed again, rather. I don't think there was any chewing involved.
Yeah, Hazel and Remy mostly know that look as Darvin does not know how no the thing he just said is.
Darvin. Foot in mouth.
Shutting up.
Not your fault, just the reason I hate them is you remember that whole thing where I wasn't taken seriously after my first squad got eaten on their mission to become a brass arrow? Want to know what killed my squad?
Crap. I apologize.
Like I say, you didn't know. It's just a. Wait, to be honest, it wasn't particularly great for me either. But at the very end of it was 1-on-1. I passed out before I even knew I killed the last one. regaining consciousness with the head of the cloaker you decapitated in your lap is not a great thing.
Jeez.
Nor is seeing the rest of the bodies. Problem
Yeah, I
was,
can
none of
imagine.
them had.
Yeah.
Problem was, none of them had dark vision. The cleric didn't light things up enough. And we didn't have healing potions. Because the guy leading us went, what the fuck do we need healing potions for? We have a cleric. And of course, the cleric was the first to die.
I think that was our first encounter with
man.
like vine blights or twig blights too. I got kind of strangled unconscious.
And Clarity was both vine blights and twig blights. Both.
Yeah, both. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Blasphemy plants.
To be fair, I think that there's probably slightly more honor in dying to like 4 cloakers as a team of 5. Then again, if they or we couldn't take cloakers, the Bahir they sent us out for probably would have been a bit much for them too.
How big are those?
Big. It's not even so much the size, it's the everything else they can do.
Ugh.
Then again, it's always easier when you just have the one target. Also, I think they were kind of afraid of me. It was either the wings that they didn't know about, or the whole barbarian ragey thing I was doing. They never saw how a barbarian from up north rages. So apparently this on top of cloakers, because they do this moan thing, and it's like, you know when like you're looking at a dragon or hearing a banshee or something like that and you just get scared?
Oh, they have one of those weird effects.
Yep.
I hate every part of that.
Welcome to why you don't want to be fighting cloakers when you have other things to do later in the day.
Because they, like Nothics and Twig Blights, and I think Banshees too, probably, are just every flavor of why.
There's a lot of things that are every flavor of why. But one day I want to go out and just clear an entire section of cloakers. Just for fun.
I remember the Shadowfell incident and the thing that kept trying to chew on you, to say nothing of the little lampreys on feet.
We have encountered some very interesting things.
Too many fucking teeth!
Nothic.
Yes, she mentioned the Nothic.
I'm more. Just
The
memories.
googly-eyed, tentacle-faced motherfucker.
That could
But as
describe so many things.
as far as
Well, it
as,
also describes the thing that that got, I guess, grown around that one heart of a barony. Star Coast one was the one that sprouted the giant tentacle-faced flapping. Look, it had
I'm not
ape arms and a tentacle face and wings, and I did not like that it had wings, so I started yelling.
Yeah, I don't think it so much grew around the heart. I think it just kind of stuffed the heart into itself.
That's not better.
No, but sorry, I'm being a pedant again. Clarity and Cherie, appreciated.
In this case, it's not even a bad thing. That's just that thing, that wings, parts, limbs that should not be,
Uh,
and stuffing a heart in it or getting grown around it. Why?
yeah, turns around to Ryland, who I think is the only one of you guys who did not face that motherfucker. Actually, no, Barnabas didn't, because the other thing was... The other thing was later. But yeah, if you have played The Secret World, this is the Urdraug. For the if you haven't, basically Cthulhu.
The traditional shape of Cthulhu with the gorilla arms and the barnacles everywhere and the
And wings.
Of course. It didn't
Filth-covered
have the wing.
Zoidberg.
Hazel to scale.
Yeah,
Filth-covered
I was.
Zoidberg.
That thing's was dragon-sized. We all hated that fight.
Didn't it like slam through a wall?
Forget wall. It went through the entire back half of a Baron's mansion, which is multiple floors of just gone. Like the entire back half of the building, which was at least 2, maybe 3 floors, stopped existing and was rubble.
I believe that Crab Endis and the rest of the Brass Arrows call those, and like that Kraken thing, siege monsters.
Makes
That
sense.
tracks, given what they do to buildings and probably fortifications.
Cherie is still walking while writing and going, sorry, I'm currently putting together how if I were them I'd be attacking major settlements. What?
It's a good thing to at least keep notes for.
Well, if you have things that can destroy fortifications and you can create them for the sole purpose of being a container for the heart of a barony, you probably would do that if you wanted to take a province. Still a little curious about the lampreys with feet, mind you, but that's the Shadowfell. Aren't there a whole mess of creatures there that used to be humanoid, but then whatever sadnesses, paranoias, or just general needs they had the most of started twisting them into monstrosities?
Well, then that means we can call the one that was trying to eat Alice the Hunger. It was mostly mouth.
Puts away notebook, rummages in bag of holding. Hungry, actually.
And the lampreys with feet, well, they seemed pretty generic, so I don't even know what they'd be called.
Wretched.
They don't even have a designation. They just are whatever is left after everything else gets stabinated.
Well, they feel wretched. They feel low, flat, unhappy generally. It's a very small emotion, therefore you get a very small...
That keeps trying to eat people.
Well, sometimes when you're feeling particularly not good about yourself, your reaction is to lash out at others. To make them feel worse than you, so that somehow is supposed to make them feel better. I've never understood that logic, but it's logic regardless.
Barring that, I know sometimes when people get sad, they eat, so maybe it could be also that a factor? I don't know, that's just weird.
But that would be what the
Shadowfell
hunger
is weird.
is. Hungry, that thing. The one that was 80% mouth, the one that was trying to eat Alice. What the hell else
I
is
don't
in
know.
there
It's the
anyway?
Shadowfell.
Honestly, I think the worst of them is the lonely.
The hell do those do?
Their arms are basically made of blades and they hug you.
Death hugs. Wonderful.
Effectively, yes. Look, as well as the various changes of clothes and various other bits and pieces, I brought a lot of books. You all get into such ridiculous. Whoop. We lost an arms. Ah, there we go. We have an arms again. You get into so many ridiculous situations that I needed a basic overview of everything.
You just dug up every single bestiary on every kind of gribbly thing that goes bumping the everywhere.
Well, there's one general bestiary, but there's a bunch of others separate, basically by habitat. Also, notes on the actual habitats, various spell books. Also, this. Rummages, pulls out, hands to Barnabas, because apparently she thinks Barnabas is going to have the most sense of humor over this. How to train your adventurers. I'll say cuddly's over. I've been trying for months, but a little extra help's always appreciated.
I'm just surprised this book wasn't around earlier, for just because we can't be the only adventuring party like this.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Yes, but most of them are from Equitas and they're properly paid and in some cases certified.
Now I'm wondering if there's an actual, like, full-scale, I don't know, guild dedicated to purely our flavors of ridiculousness. I know there's the brass arrows, but I mean all of that between all 5 groups.
Well, the Egref has the Explorers Society, not the shop, but the actual Explorers. There's actually a guild. How do you think they get all of that? All those maps, all the everything. There's the Brass Arrows, there's the mercenary companies. Demille's got the people, but they stay pretty well contained.
Just wondering if there's one overarching collaboration.
Where I was going with that was not yet, because Ambia doesn't have any of that. And keep in mind, I'm going to be taking over a great many of the gubernatorial tasks, assuming that this goes over well. I'm not even just talking about the potential for, no longer being just. There's also, if there's still enough Elosa left to do this, not only will I be able to run something or organize something, at least on the administrative level, from experience as an adventurer, Head of Guard also has experience as an adventurer and can handle things on the more certification side.
It would also make sense for the overarching body that's coordinating collaborations between all the rest to be in Ambir of all places.
Like I say, we're the only ones that don't have anything like that.
Exactly. That's why it makes sense for you guys to be the ones coordinating the rest.
Also, we do not, or at least we will not be, tolerating shenanigans.
Thank you. That probably would save so many of us from the situations that led to I guess not so much negative for us because we kind of cobbled together out of that kind of chaotic mess, but keeping that from happening to anybody else would probably be great.
Yes and no. There needs to be an allowance for this amount of chaos. Because sometimes you don't find the best people you need through some regimented process. The whole reason it's a good idea to have adventurers make up this body and build it from the ground up is because we know where the leeway is.
Makes a lot of sense.
There is something to be said for allowing for a little bit of dumb luck, for lack of a
Less,
better term.
less the dumb luck. It's not so much luck. It's being able to see the opportunities you create when you're together. That is your group's weak point. That is why Alice and I work so well for you. We can see what you can do in the context of you yourself and the group. There probably needs to be a course in that. I think that's the only thing adventurers really need to learn. Not just what can I do, what can we do?
I think the term is synergy.
Yes, it's the synergy.
Teamwork, coordination.
Synergy is actually better because that's more organic. It feels like luck when it's going well, but it isn't. It just feels like luck because you're not having to think about it with the front of your brain. You just know. It just happens.
I do agree. That's our biggest weak point. A lot of us are still figuring out what we can do as individuals. We haven't had a chance to sit down and give much thought to what we do as a group all at once with each, or not even, not all at once, bad choice of words, but just all together.
Alice says, Rylan, Jefferson. Can you see through Jefferson? Like a familiar? Is that a thing you can do?
I don't think so.
Well, we'll have to look into that. Because I think I see where she's going. If we want a ground level view, I suppose if push comes to shove, I can always find a familiar. As long as I prepare that in the morning. She's following on from your ground level, and the good thing about Jefferson or a familiar is that they don't dissipate after an hour.
Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't be tinged with,
Bahamut, yes.
Yeah.
That went without saying.
Oh, okay.
Of course, Alice, could you keep an eye out for what sort of animals, if I can see any animals? I think one thing I am going to need is, if any, I suppose disguise self is about the only way I can think of that I could do this, but I'm trying to avoid too much in the way of magic here. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's just, if there's light sources down there, just shines the light she's conjured onto her wing. You know what happens when you shine white light on a white object.
You are very reflective, yes.
So just gonna need to figure out ways to not be. I'm hoping that disguise self will work okay, because that's technically bard magic. Because I am not spending a day and a half washing crap out of my feathers. Plus, that might interfere with my ability to fly.
Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't well, it would probably be easy. Yeah, and disguise self would probably be easier, and like you said, less magic. And okay, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you have the room to fly, I can make you invisible for an hour. Does that help?
Oh, it definitely would.
But would that be too much magic?
I mean,
I don't know if it would coming from me.
shadow magic.
Hmm.
That's fair. That's fair.
And
That's fair.
there's a shadow creature wandering around out there.
Point.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's which is probably why you also went to Jefferson first, as opposed to a familiar. So yeah, that does make sense.
Mhm.
I get you now. I follow.
Now, that would probably be a better way of doing it, because hopefully shadow magic overlying being that would actually maybe help the technically born of okay by a remove, but only a remove born from a god. That's just gonna make my life so much fun until we get this resolved, isn't it? Okay, so what that means is that Rylan, you're gonna have to make the approach with me, because
Okay.
I want that spell to cover for as long as possible.
Hmm.
I mean, I would actually feel better if you backed up afterwards, because that it'd be a tense place to wait.
Hmm.
But as long as you're okay with coming out to the and sure he is. That's where the arcane eye can come in briefly. Scout for a safe place before the city limits. So we stop here for the night. I prep for finding a familiar. It's a ritual, so I won't even be using any spell energy for it. You send your arcane eye out to find out where the best place, how close they can get, to give Alice the most time, and the best route for Ryland to back up down.
Hmm.
And one of those situations of, is this worth a use of Dimension Door? I would suggest yes. But that's just me.
Rylan, can you do that?
I thought you could do that.
Well, if not, then I
can't.
could have come.
I can't door. I can just flip.
You can? Okay, just checking. Because I was going to say, if not, I'm
No, that's what I'm
sneaking
saying. I
myself.
cannot door. I just have
You have
teleport.
teleportation.
Oh, well.
But as long as we are doing this before we even think about attacking the place.
Hmm.
So using that spell energy, I just want as few people to go as possible. On the ground that if it starts getting, I mean, we don't.
Dicey.
Well, it's rocky terrain. So, I mean, the more people, the more potential noise.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're comfortable doing that, that's fine. My only thought was I can dimension door myself. I thought that way you could save the teleport.
But again, we're not. He'd be teleporting back to the door to the surreal estate, waiting for Alice to come back, and then we rest. Draw the map because we need to draw the map.
Right. My bad.
Yeah,
No,
we're not going straight from scouting to punching.
Yeah, it's good
Right,
that you
right,
thought
right.
that, but we need the time to draw
Yeah.
that map, evaluate routes, have my familiar scout the routes.
Yes. Understood.
This
I got
is
you
this is going to be an undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
I know that
Yeah.
usually
Little bit.
I know it's usually probably for you all just go in and hope, but this is
Let's
me.
be a little more tactical if we can.
this is me we're talking about.
Yes. Let's not do that.
I'm sure I am very much interrupting your usual groove, and I apologize for that. But
Oh no. This is so much
Oh, no,
better
no.
groove.
Well, we've gotten
This has
here
got a much
a
better
little
beat.
bit
I can
ahead of
dance to this a lot
schedule.
better.
It's just there has to be paperwork, otherwise I get a bit twitchy.
Plus, plus usually when we just go in and hope, we're not dealing with a literal entire city at once. So in this particular context, it's doubly good that we're holding back. Like, there are situations where holding back this much would be more of a detriment, but right now, no, not even remotely.
Clarity is
Moderation is a good thing.
clarity is actually, I'm kind of remembering our initial approach at Starcoast, where we did kind of go in knowing that the guards were going to hate us, and it went kind of wrong.
But
And
we went into the Starcoast Manor. We went into one building.
no, you remember when stepping on cloaks and half of you went to jail because you can't sneak worth anything?
Right, the Klutz incident.
Klutz incident the first, because then Darvin later in the manor, Darvin tripped over the box of pots and
The
pans.
the crates of pans and such. Yes.
Every single one in that basement fell over.
Yes, but before that, you were out on the street and people lost their cloaks, and you were all, well, about half of us were arrested, and it was a whole thing. And
There was far too much tripping because we tried to do the sneaky, and we're bad at it. You're the only one of us who was good at it at the time.
Clarity looks at you with just pots and pans.
Well, yeah, but for the Klutz incident, I didn't get involved in that.
Either way, point is, we have gone into cities without planning before.
Without planning this much, we did have a plan of sneak to X place, hide,
semblance of a
figure
plan.
out more stuff. We just didn't get that far because our own failings proceeded to handicap us.
We had a concept of a plan.
Barely the concept of a plan.
Alice looks at... I mean, this is before they met you, too, isn't it?
Way before.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, when you turned up at Starcoast, the death fog was already there. This predates the death fog. They've been fucking up since the death... long before the death fog.
What? Yeah, this was right before
This was the incident
we had to
that
leave and then encounter Remy.
Yeah, this was the incident that instigated the death fog, which you then had to go back into to meet Remy and divination wizard who shall not be named.
The behatted jackass.
We kept the good one. From that particular duo, we kept the good one.
The far smashier one. I recall I recall having overheard one of the first things spoken.
Have you ever
from
been
Remy
stabbed?
Have you ever been stabbed before? Why were you asking a wizard if he'd been stabbed? The wizards. Cherie avoids that at all costs with good reason.
But Cherie,
You never know.
Cherie then says, to be fair, I've rarely, if ever, been in a position of that sort of thing, but I do try very hard to avoid that sort of thing because of some various things I have heard as... I've listened to the various Belarusian mercenary companies, and I believe Remy and Barnabas will understand the chorus of Always Geek the Mage. Mage being a catch-all term for wizard, sorcerer, warlock, bard, cleric.
Druid in some cases, probably.
Druids tend to be difficult to identify as humanoid, much less magic user.
Oh, that's also true, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only one that could reliably be such is whatever the hell Alana does, because I remember that, yes, she can turn into creatures, but some of the stories say she just is an area of
mushroom
sparkles and mold, and no.
The sparkles are mushroom spores.
So it isn't just motes of light and fairy fire?
No, she grows crystalline mushrooms that do some very bizarre things.
I remember the crystalline ones. I didn't think that was literally what she made her weird sparkle shit out of.
Circle of
Oh, that's
that
even
is why
scarier.
that is
She
why
scares me more now.
that is why she is a circle of spores druid. She has an entire school of druidry.
That's gonna live rent-free in my nightmares now. Thank you.
That's what you get when you have someone who is that attuned to the cycle of life and death, living in the bone orchard. Basically, both Nyala and Alana have death auras. Alana's is spores. Nyala's is hornets.
Ugh.
Swarm Keeper Ranger. She can actually make a platform of those to stand on to get high ground. Ava is probably at that point thinking, "Ooh, nice."
Even Darwin's like, ooh, neat.
Yeah, but it's more
Guess
it's
to
more
just hover?
probably Ava thinking about the time she's had to climb for high ground with her -1 athletics checks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Darwin is just thinking, presentation.
Yeah, he was thinking of the practicality, and Darwin's thinking of the theatrics.
Ranger Bard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen the predominant difference.
Mm-hmm.
They're an interesting pair, put it that way, even without considering how old they are.
I have to wonder how their original gaggle of friends dealt with them being themselves.
Probably
Probably
not.
by being themselves. As I recall, there
And
was a somewhat dilettante scion of your Elven Wild. Learning the world, partially out of needing to experience the world outside the Elven Wild, and partially out of boredom. And then there was one of the people. At one point, halfling. Yes, the reason they left Aenbach was because Alice, you can vouch for me. The Erdasia, that's the word. At this individual's 18th birthday, said, "No, you're not going to manage here because most of the snowdrifts are very, very much deeper than you are tall, and you probably want to be someplace with a bit more sun." And so he went a wandering and found that lot. Possibly they, not entirely sure. Most of the time, there are only a very few images that remain from that time, and most of what we saw of the halfling was hat.
Sorry, Nat. I don't know why, but the concept of everything anyone remembers of someone is just a hat that
It's not.
stabs things.
It's not. It's not the remembering, because we do remember that they were a rogue. And because of everything that was going on, and the elven wild elf being a bit more smashy than the rest, tended to be distance without crossbow. I think it's more that, when you're commissioning artists, and generally speaking, it's less expensive to have sort of waist up. Well, they didn't think to, or possibly they were afraid of insulting this halfling by getting them to stand on a box. So mostly what we got was about eye level and hat. Very impressive hat, mind you.
Oh boy.
But if you want descriptions of those two, perhaps ask the twins in a quiet moment.
Add that to my goals list.
And Michigan from the Griffin bag. Big hat.
Uh-oh.
I want a big hat.
Darwin literally just pulls out a small piece of paper and find big hat for Omen Grip.
Sure is. We could use one of your own feathers for the brim, too. Mine? Okay, we'll use somebody else's feathers for the brim. Mine! From Alice. Okay, we will use something else's feathers for that.
I might still have some left from.
I still don't want
Going-
my feathers being used in somebody's hat.
I think I have some from some of my mom's stuff that we.
I
Way
would,
back
I would,
when.
I would guess that Xana took all of that.
Probably, yeah, you're right, actually, come to think of it. Well, either way,
We'll
Maybe-
find some.
Maybe you can hunt up a bird that then we can take the feathers for your hat. Hunt hat? Not entirely sure if Michigan wants to hunt the bird for hat feathers or just wants to hunt the hat at this point. Hazel?
I mean, both?
I'm just trying to process some of this and
Yeah, but you get talon holes in the hat. Ears. Yeah, but you'd have to be very careful where you put the talons. Pooh. We'll find you something pretty with pretty feathers. Maybe we can find you a peacock. I honestly
You know,
think
that's
it's
what I was
only
thinking.
I think it's only Darvin and Ava who know what a peacock is. Alice A. Peacock.
Oh.
And then with the tail.
what are those?
That's a peacock. Now a peahen, on the other hand, made of boring.
Oh, this is just like chickens. This is just like chickens, except
Just fancier.
Way fancier.
and yeah, I think we can obviously tell which one is.
You get the. I assume Alice showed the blue and green.
Yeah.
Typical one.
Yeah,
You
peacock was
get them in white as well.
first, and then peahen. Just to
You get them in white too.
yeah. At the same time, I think most people, when they want the feathers for the color.
Probably.
Anyway, this is probably as good a place as any to set camp. Dear gods, am I glad we've actually got the surreal estate. Because can you imagine trying to put up Hazel's magic tent in here?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
That'd be complicated. That thing is big.
And, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
that and the cloakers. would be
bigger on the inside, but
Like
still,
externally, it's still pretty large.
yeah. So,
It's a full-sized like tent.
lucky us, I hadn't even thought of that. Sketchy. And when we come back, we'll start the scouting maneuvers. And if anyone can think of anyone else to add to this little bit of preparation, have a think. See you in a bit. And we're back, approaching instead of the Goblin City, the Kobold City. And Ethan, the one I expected to get the Labyrinth reference. Anyway,
Hmm.
so first thought is Yes, the first thought was set out the arcane eye to see how close y'all can get. Although, as you're settling down, Michigan is kind of looking and going, Scout?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Scout!
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Am?
it's literally boing and heading for the door because it thought.
He wants.
Mission. Wait.
Scout!
And I'm just looking to Alice. Say, do you want an Omen Griffin with you?
Well, we were doing Ethan's thing. We were doing Darvin's thing first. So
Mhm.
I don't know what this one's doing. Scout!
Let's let Darvin do his part first, and then you can go with Alice to do that.
Nope, nope, nope.
What?
Nope, nope, nope.
Oh, nope.
Wait, what? I
He wants to scout.
am concerned about the Omen Griffin going out there. How quiet can you be?
I'm concerned about Omen Griffin's safety.
I mean,
She is. I actually think I understand what he's talking about. If you follow Michigan with the arcane eye, if he decides to walk it, you'll know better where the tunnels are. You're considering sending out your arcane eye, following tunnel walls, which could branch.
Mhm.
He's suggesting giving you a path to follow.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay. I mean,
that's actually perfect.
mhm,
Hang on, Michigan. Since you're going to be on this mission effectively solo, going to boop him on the beak and death ward him.
And gives us. It's a combination cat shake and feathers.
Because, yeah, he just gets lit up with divine energy for half a second.
And actually just kind of does the preen in that cat. You've mussed me.
yeah.
And then
There we go.
And then-
In this kit, and plus, now that somebody managed to logic out what the idea was, I'm game for it. As long as you stay as safe as possible, even with that ward.
Scout.
I trust you, you ridiculous little fuzzball.
And just as when you first met, cheerfully snaps his beak at you. Alice kind of opens up the door. It's just a crack, just enough for Michigan to get through. Actually, that's a good
Yep,
thing.
and
Oh. Oh, that's a thought. I know you can use that, at whatever distance. Does it work interplanar? This is not the prime material plane in this house.
Yeah, you have to cast that
I'll step
outside.
outside.
It's a good thing I thought of that, because I was just going to say, hey, at least this means we
Yeah.
can shut the door and not be... And then I thought, wait a minute! I don't want another out-of-service range incident.
Yeah, I'll go with Donovan and
No, we don't
use.
want that many people out there. We want one person who can slip in through the crack in the door if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
I get wanting to cover, but what happens if something comes this way is we yoink Darwin in, We shut the door and we trust Michigan.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because if you're out there and it takes more than that time to, you get what I mean.
Mhm.
We don't want to fight yet. So yeah, outside of the door there is Darwin and Michigan sitting at his feet, waiting, apparently, for the
Yep.
casting to happen.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there are actually no components to this. So he just concentrates and the eye,
Coalesces, I believe, is the word.
thanks the word. That's the word. That's the word. Thank you. I was trying to find it. And I just say to Michigan, go.
Nyum. It's amazing. It's amazing that little brick of a cat bird could go that fast on land.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting gait too. If you've ever seen a song, just. But again, surprisingly quick gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
So the eye follows.
what you are seeing through the eye is actually give me a con save because
Oh boy. Oh,
Okay.
because
That's a six.
it's a good thing you're not fighting until tomorrow because you're gonna
Mm.
end up with such a headache after this.
Oh yeah. This is
Because
my first real time using it. So yeah.
yeah, it's not just that. If you put it somewhere stationary, it'd probably be fine. It's just
Um,
there. There's enough.
the motion without actually moving is messing with me.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. Does Arcane Eye have dark vision?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure because sometimes spells are weird.
Here, I'll drop it in the chat.
Oh yes, that's a once per week.
no
And
more
yeah,
than
that's another reason you wouldn't be
Yeah,
able
the
to.
every direction.
Well, it's not just that. You remember you were talking about using it to look for prisoners? A
Mm-hmm.
solid barrier blocks the eye's movement. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered about that. You can't put it through walls.
No, but you can put it through like keyholes and under doors.
Fair enough. Honestly,
So.
depends on how flush to everything doors and keyholes are. I mean,
Fair.
there are draft excluders, and here in the
Mm-hmm.
UK they have these little widgets that you slip
Mm-hmm.
over that cap off your keyhole. Depending
Mm-hmm.
on how
Yeah, I've seen
paranoid,
those.
yeah, depending on how paranoid you are, there's a lot of ways to block off a
Oh yeah,
1 inch
no, I
gap.
agree. I agree entirely. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're moving along. It takes a good few minutes with a couple of there's a couple of branch off points where Michigan kind of stops and sort of and then noom down one of the corridors. So that's another good reason for Michigan to be coming along because Michigan knows the way to go. You weren't necessarily expecting like branch points.
Yeah, and he can at least he has more senses than just visual to be able to tell where to go. So yeah,
Not to
this was
mention
a very good idea.
part cat. So built-in dark vision.
Yeah. There's a reason there's a song called "All Borders Are Porous to Cats."
uh, Sean and McGuire's thing about that is that they have access to something called the shadow roads, so they're kind of like Ryland.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's a term.
Well,
that's a trope I'm familiar with.
when Ryland hits level like 16 or something,
Ooh.
that you get at level I think it's level 16 you get to shadow step.
Oh, I have that now already,
Oh, okay.
actually.
Yes, there have been times when you could have conceivably used that. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I have to remember all my shit, I know.
everybody has to remember all their shit. I know. But yeah, there's about 5-10 minutes of this, right up until Michigan stops because you can see. You can't do anything else. But Michigan has stopped. You can probably see the little head go. And turns around, faces one of the walls. And sketches what. It takes you a minute, but you figure out it's meant to be Hazel's hair bow. Just 2 triangles. He's marking off the point where it's safe.
Oh.
Yeah, because your dark vision is limited to 30 feet. Whatever it is more than 30 feet away. Or it's something Michigan heard or smelled, but whatever it is, mostly what you're seeing for the first 30 feet, which is as far as your dark vision can take you, is empty space. But Michigan seems to be very much, okay, we're stopping right here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's obvious from the body language.
Yeah,
So,
it
yeah.
actually looks up at the eye, doesn't seem to understand that it doesn't hear, and is the beak is moving. Looks kind of put out.
Oh.
Floofs a little, and then runs back.
And the eye will follow.
Yeah, and just scratching out little marks as they go.
Mm-hmm.
After everyone giving a baleful look as opens the beak again.
And the eye just kind of, just as the only way I can figure out, and it's invisible anyway. So I mean,
Well, that's the thing. That's an important thing for Darwin to note.
yeah,
He's still looking at it.
yeah. So that's in the back of his head. So he just kind of goes side to side, just as a way of like, I guess that could be a no.
And then sort of there's that slump shoulder that invariably is followed by poo. And the beak opens, and then back to the charging.
Yep. And I will keep that eye following him the entire way to make sure he gets back safely.
Yeah, it seems like he stopped at the safe spots. Although there is one branch point where he stops at the point he didn't take. And there's a fairly violent scratchy at the floor of that, which very clearly means no. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Gotcha.
Now, you don't know if that's really, really dangerous or just wet. But either way, it's not someplace Michigan does not want anybody going.
Hey, either way.
And you get towards the end, before once the branch points are done, actually does some low. You know when pigeons fly low? It sort of glides to Darvin's feet. Pooh.
Thank you. You did well.
Snugs?
You will get treats.
Snugs.
And as I'm snugging him, I'm going.
Yeah. Well, no, it would still be open a crack because you can't open it from.
Oh.
So it was open a crack.
Okay.
So you just sort of
You just
butt
kind of
into.
elbow. Just.
You know that thing where you're going through a door with groceries, so
Yep.
you walk into it and sort of do
Yep,
the little
yep,
swivel and then
exactly.
kick it shut. Well, like that, but with
Exactly
Michigan.
that. Yeah, exactly that.
Tight snugs.
Yep. Hazel, please have treats. Michigan needs treats. That was amazing. Okay. And I'll hand Michigan off to Hazel.
Actually, skids up to Hazel first. Mine. Snugs? Then delicious. Please. Boing.
So, Michigan marked all the safe branches. There is one in particular not too far along the path that is extremely marked, and no, absolutely not.
Nope,
Do not go that way.
nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Do not go that way. Whatever you do not go that way. Okay.
Okay.
Now beyond that,
7 nopes of that. Okay.
yeah. Now when you'll reach a point where you'll see he's sketched your bow, Hazel, and that marks the safe point. I couldn't see what Michigan saw or sensed. Whatever it was beyond 30 feet, but his reaction: do not go any further.
Heard.
Ah, there you go.
And opens beak. And Darvin, having the Helm of comprehend languages, Ava can recognize that this language originated from Draconic, but isn't quite Draconic. It's either Proto-Draconic or a different dialect, one that is for lesser dragon-related beings, and lets out from two separate koboldy sounding voices an argument.
Do I have any sense of what they're saying? Or?
No, you get an argument. Darvin, you know that the pedantry points of scripture, the pedantry points that Shuri and Hazel were having. It's like that, but over what you think might be some particular bit of scripture. Something about whether or not it's acceptable to eat the remnants of omen searching, which you determine after a bit is they're trying to figure out if they have to send away all the organs or if they're allowed to eat them. One says, well, they've served their purpose now, and the other one is we can't take within ourselves the omens of the gods. That's blasphemy.
Darvin goes a little green, and so yeah, what that was, they're similar in a way to what you two were arguing about. They're arguing about whether or not it is blasphemous to consume the remnants of their omen gathering or omen seeking or whatever. Oh,
Hmm.
oh.
I'll say is looking over at Remy. Your parents never did steak and kidney pie ever.
Oh.
But we didn't do anything with the kidneys beforehand.
Why does it matter unless you're putting something poisonous in it? You've all eaten liver, goddammit! I know this for truth!
Yes.
It still not quite the same as that, though.
It's a unique sort of grody, but it's no worse than some of the other crazy ideas we've heard and done.
Okay, that's fair. That does help put a little bit in perspective. Just for a moment there, the idea of that was just kind of,
I mean, meat is meat.
Yeah, I suppose from a odd perspective, it is a bit of an interesting argument. I'm not really sure, but yeah,
Look,
that's what Michigan was hearing.
I think most of what that indicates to us is that they're, slightly overzealous people, but people nonetheless.
Fair enough.
Also,
yeah, they're intelligent enough to have that argument.
Also, I personally believe that if you don't make use of everything out of what you've killed, it's waste, and the gods abhor waste.
That's fair. Yeah, that is entirely fair. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that I believe is Michigan. Is that everything? Did I cover everything?
Yep.
That was everything. Okay, good. So there you go. Yeah.
So we have a marking point where
Yes.
Michigan. Did you stop there because that's a good place for Ryland to cast the spell on me? Yip, yip, yip.
Yeah, it did look like it. Yeah.
And that was long enough so that actually teleport is probably the better spell to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you were going at quite the zoomy speed, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah. If he hadn't stopped a few times, I might not have been able to keep up the whole way.
Zoomies.
Very good, Griffin.
Sorry, I am focusing on a dedicated zoomies room.
Oh. Something else. And this may be nothing, but I think Michigan could see the eye.
Wait, hold up. Isn't that thing invisible?
Yeah, I thought so.
Michigan, can you see invisible things?
What? Alice says if he can see them, they're not invisible to him. Think about how that question sounds for a minute.
Yeah, okay. It didn't make a whole lot of sense there,
I
Hazel.
figured that out the minute I finished the sentence. I just wanted to say it anyway.
Okay,
That's fair.
That's,
I mean, I've done the
and
same thing.
it's the bards who are going. That's fair.
Point being is, okay, can somebody here do a thing? Cast
Invisible.
something that's usually invisible
Rylan,
that we can't see?
practice casting invisibility.
Just quietly, like, already
Yeah, do that
started
and then
casting it
move
on
somewhere.
self.
Yeah, do that
Sort
then
of like-
walk somewhere and we'll...
I feel like I would just end up pacing the room a little bit, just watching Michigan's gaze.
Oh,
Okay, Michigan, where's
Michigan is more
Rylan?
looking at Hazel like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
When we hear the footsteps, though,
Like, where, like, is Michigan, please just point your face at where Ryland is going.
My dice are always going to do that, aren't they? Actually wiggles out of Hazel's grip. Boing, 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 flap, flap, flap. On top of Ryland's head. At which point he stops being invisible. They stop being invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha!
Well, damn.
Holy
Good to know.
shit! The Church Griffin, Omen Griffin can see invisible stuff!
You can
Or
see
rather-
things we can't.
Yeah, or rather, invisible things are not to him.
Yeah,
Or
basically,
rather, things that are not supposed to be seen.
yeah,
Right.
Michigan, we couldn't see Rylan. You can. That's a lot.
That's incredible, is what it is.
That's ridiculous. Amazing and fitting for the Omen Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But thoroughly
Yeah, that-
stonking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That actually does make a fair bit of
Yeah,
sense.
and it sure is. Yes, did it ever occur that possibly having used Michigan as an omen channel may have either granted or awakened abilities in this little thing?
Is this all because
That's where
divine
my head
energy's
was
been
going.
coursing through him? That he's now more than just a church griffin?
To be honest, I need more of the care notes on church griffins. It could be that they're abnormally sensitive to magics. It could be that this one is a variant.
If he suddenly gets bigger and winds up the size of like an actual full-scale griffin, I'm gonna pop right out of my socks in shock.
You'd also have quite the mount. But no, I don't think so. I don't think he'd want to anyway. He wouldn't be very snuggable that way.
yeah.
Plenty snuggable, just more too snug.
No, there's a difference between hug and snug, I think.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't be able to wrap your arms around him like he likes.
And
I mean, okay, fair point.
Alice says you can hug Legolas, you can't snug Legolas.
just mentioning the idea of I'm going to be needing to look at stuff in Agraf next time we're anywhere near there, like for a consistent amount of time.
Why Agraf? I mean, granted, they were originally bred there, but you probably want to start with where you got him.
Well, no, I don't mean asking that. Okay, I will probably also want to ask those questions, but I'm talking about Agraf being the source of unique magical items. But I can explain the rest later. First, I'd have to ask how receptive he'd be to magic. I wouldn't want to put him through anything that would be uncomfortable.
Are you talking about immuning him?
Huh?
Are you talking about immuning him? Immunizing.
No, I'm not talking about that.
But we should.
If he can take that
What
kind of
I'm talking
energy, then
about
he should.
is
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, can we?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, he's smart enough to carry
Like-
on a conversation. That's smart enough to
look,
hear a call to come back.
if possible, 100% would go with that. But my thought was more in the case of the spells that make stuff bigger and smaller. So at the very because one more individual capable of carting people over things would give Alice a bit of a break.
I don't think even with enlarge he's going to get big enough to carry anyone. Allow me to demonstrate. Pulls out her charm bracelet. Tap. Because of how enlarge reduce works, he's basically because he's still a cub.
He goes
He's-
from small to medium, basically.
I mean, remember, this is corgi puppy size.
Hmm.
It's still pretty stonking. So when he gets actually full sized, he's going to be pretty fucking massive.
No, he's gonna be corgi sized. Just different leg habitus. Right now, corgi puppy.
Oh, good God.
So gonna grow into corgi.
That's still, the corgis are big.
Depends on the corgi. Most of the ones I've seen are not that huge. But then again, I'm used to. They're still small dogs.
Yeah.
Because, anyway, yeah, no.
They're dense, though, because
Yeah.
they're basically herding dogs, but with the legs chopped.
Yeah, in this case, most of the muscle on Michigan is going to the wings. So, slightly lankier in the leg department. But yeah, when he goes from corgi puppy to like
He goes from small to medium, basically.
yeah, sort of
Well,
heading out of puppyhood, total retriever kind of size.
He's vague. He's just expanded to maybe the size of a small golden retriever.
No, the size of in which case, yeah, the size of a small golden retriever, because that's about the size of probably a not entirely fully grown golden retriever, but close.
And that's with an enlarge as he is now.
That's with this. So she's sort of tap.
That's still impressively big.
Still not going to be carrying anyone anywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. Nerds. But still snuggable. I think he wants to be his normal size, though.
Give me an athletics check, because Michigan is going to test that theory.
We put the idea in his head, now he's trying something. So you said athletics?
Yes, I did.
Wonder where he gets that from.
Michigan is no longer snuggable because of the wing involvement. You basically you get boing. You try to catch, wings get in the way, and you wind up in this tangle of limbs and feathers on the floor. Snug.
Pull those in, you ridiculous feather bear.
To be fair, they were in. That's as in as they go.
This is a lot of wing.
Welcome to my life. Not that I'm complaining, but you know, actually, given the position, welcome to Ree's life. And then she kind of reduces size skin inch. Snug.
No.
Woj.
Snug. Clarity has been taking notes.
Of course you had.
Always.
Oh boy.
And the look. Well, I'd be really sad if I missed this. 'Cause out of character, let's face it. Yes, she will. So we have positionings. And we have our various tasks at hand. Is there anything anybody else can think of that we might want to do? I want Remy and Barnabas specifically to roll me intelligence checks. Yeah. Remy, very much the get out there and twat hit mercenary. Barnabas knows not only mercenary, but effectively what to do with a city. He's thinking about do any of us have any things that might be sufficient traps to put in place so if we have to retreat we close off various other avenues of pursuit. And B, by the same token, is there any way we can, in advance of that, if Alice sees an opportunity, is to basically make the path that would be best for you to take less accessible? Does anybody have any ideas for that? Because basically, you're thinking about all the various criminals who had managed to line up like everything from tipping over a trash can to an all-important delivery where the cart wound up blocking an alley to keep you guys from being able to, to keep your beat from being able to follow them. You know the kind of chase scene that happens.
And Barnabas is also like, man, if I had this echo back then, that'd have been great.
So you're seeing Barnabas go through quite the facial journey, particularly on a bovine face.
Mm-hmm. Do we have anything we could use, or any, basically for a way for the safe route back to basically either trap it or make it harder for anyone to follow us?
Oh.
Yeah.
And Darwin is having a flashback of a time or two when he's had to flee the scene of certain hijinks when he was younger.
One or two
Same
things
idea,
that can slow
different
them
directions.
down, but
Yeah, basically.
I don't know about outright
A
stop.
lot of that is probably going to be knowing the terrain when we get there, but it's a
Yeah.
good thing to think about. I mean, even just on an items we have with us. Like, say, if we had anything that was remotely like a bridge or, say, a wall in our way, that dust of disappearing, everything comes back
Oh, right,
after a
yeah.
minute, doesn't it?
Mm.
That's stuff that dumped you in the basement.
That could work.
Oh boy, that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
have not found a use for it.
We may just have.
So
I
that's
mean,
the thing. If I can find a straight on route, and especially if we think there are captives there, if we want to get anybody out of anywhere, we want to do it fast. And you all
Mm.
know, even with Clarity's expertise, no, lockpicking is not fast.
not necessarily, no. That stuff, yeah, you just sprinkle a little bit on the lock. Rather, you don't want to widespread it, but if you put a little on that lock, poof, it's gone, and there you go.
I was actually more thinking, why have to use any of the doors at all? Just pitch and run. Because then
Mm.
the
Yeah, the wall, of course, yeah.
because then the
Duh.
wall seals up behind you. They gotta use the damn
Mm-hmm.
doors.
Mm-hmm.
Make
Point.
your own door, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Opening portal, yeah, or whatever.
I have ensnaring strike, but if it's anything larger, it's going to have an easier. It's not going to be as effective.
Well, that's
Good enough for a
one
person.
thing that these are the things I'm thinking about as I guess the reason I'm asking is because I can plan a route better if I know what I should be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So Barnabas would be like, what? Easily knock overable trash cans. Um,
Yeah, crates, anything like that. Anything.
Mm.
Or anywhere that. How can I put this? Because there's a. I. I mean, they still caught me eventually, but there was a time or two where it was. They had. It was things where the it wasn't a full opening. It was like somebody had. You know how sometimes you have those doors, but they're split,
yeah,
and so you can have the top open and
it's
then and just
they're stable doors. That top opening is supposed to let a horse peek out or in.
right. Well, yeah, you can also have them on like I've seen them where they're used for
Yeah, but
like
that's still what they're
kitchens.
called. It's that's still what they're called because of
Oh,
that.
that's still the term. My bad. But yeah, somebody had one that was the top was closed, the bottom was open, so I slid through underneath, and they were concentrating full tilt on catching me, and wham!
You have to consider a couple of things through that.
Oh yeah,
Um, like
what's on the other side?
well, that too. But I was more thinking um, that might not be great for those of us without that much in the way of dexterity.
Ah, yeah,
I mean, Barnabas can blip an echo.
right,
Meanwhile, I'd hit it like a sack of potatoes.
right. Sorry. Point.
I might be able to go
Okay.
fast, but I go fast in straight lines.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Agile, I am not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm not talking about athletics insofar as strength goes. I'm talking about agility.
yeah, acrobatics.
It's gonna be harder for Hazel. It's gonna be harder for Barnabas, except he's got the echo.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be harder for Remy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that short.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think we're looking more at it's probably going to be more things that we can do to close off, hamper anything behind us rather than a, a more circuitous route with like ups and overs and throughs and such, if you get what I mean. not so much concerned with that as so much as, what can we throw behind us? Man, I wish I still had those freaking. Ah,
I
sorry.
mean, if we're being chased, I can
I'm
potentially slow them down with Conda Barrage, but
I'm gonna
Yeah, well,
that's only.
when I was, you ever play the game when you're a kid with like, there's these the little pieces of metal and the ball, and I
um
threw those behind me at one point.
I'm gonna
I had some in my pocket. And
I'm gonna
those
give
hurt
I'm gonna
like a
give
mother.
this one to Remy. One of the few residential area attacks she was involved in. Everybody kind of called Carter an asshole for this, but an asshole in a good cause, because what he did to get through the inhabited area was effectively to make sure that everybody of any particular worth or power was elsewhere, basically by setting their temple on fire.
Mm.
Distraction.
So the real zealots, the ones who might, because that's the other thing. Remy, being gifted by the divine, knows full well that that's it's the ones who have an understanding with the gods who are going to have some problems, and they will be much more interested in saving their temple and assuming that whoever set the thing is nearby. So that's another possibility. Just ask Alice if she can find their shrine or big important building or whatever they have.
We could cause a distraction, but it would have to be something significant enough to get their attention.
Like,
Targeting something that they would value more than us, or rather, chasing us thinking we're over there,
okay, like what?
like setting their temple on fire,
Oh, okay,
or otherwise bringing the roof down.
Ah,
okay, yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
okay.
attack.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure any one of us have the capability of setting any number of things on fire. Frankly,
Yes, I think the
Uh,
point is for it to be a distraction that
mm-hmm.
who has fire related spells?
I have Sacred
Oh.
Flame.
Burning hands and
Sacred
scorching
Flame
ray.
is radiant. It's not fire.
I got the wand now. I can
No, it can't be
throw
the
it pretty
wand. It
far.
needs to be a prepared spell, and even being
Hmm.
able to do the glyph is going to be because it's going to have to be a scroll. And clarity is you're going to write a scroll. Ew. How many
Yeah.
of you have heard of glyph of warning? Warding.
Boarding.
Wait, question. Would I have at any point since? Because Mom and Mama wizard thing?
You probably got. There was probably a joke at one point when you were little that you didn't entirely understand, but you did get Mom to explain to you later, which was talking about an explosion and then Mom going, and then I said, I prepared explosive runes this morning. And both of them burst out laughing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Both of
Can
you
we- is
know
this
where
the
I got that
explosive
from,
runes
too.
Thing?
Sorry?
Oh, that's a reference I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, I
What?
recognize it. I prepared explosive runes today. What? Boom!
I still
Is
want
this
to.
the explosive runes thing?
It can be, yes. But one of the other things it can be is storing a spell.
Oh. Wait,
Save
hang
the
on.
fire.
That actually has me thinking. It's still. I'm just trying to remember if I can do something, if I can do anything, if I could like ask Paylor for anything remotely like that, because just your plan still going. I'm just trying to remember if I can if I have anything in my repertoire that's even remotely like that.
We probably want to avoid god magic.
Yeah, that agreed. I'm just not relating to our current plan.
Okay.
This is just me trying to remember.
Fair enough, but we need to focus on the task at hand right now. We'll make a note. You can, and Clarity is making a note. We can look it up later.
Thank you.
At which point, Wall of Fire.
Yes, I could do that.
I remember that one.
Okay, we're going to need to have a conversation. Alice, I need a combination of magical practice room and study. One where you can set a permeable barrier so that the desk involved is safe from anything that's going on, but you can still see, hear, and communicate. Exactly, thank you. Focusing.
And if you need any other fire things, I have a couple myself. So.
It can only hold the one. We want something as we can. It's called spell glyph. And the reason it needs to be a scroll and a very carefully handled. No, actually, it doesn't, because bards can cast it. Because if I give the scroll to Alice, and she casts it on the wall of any temple she finds, I trigger it tomorrow, which I believe I can do from a reasonable distance, or she does. Whoever does. If she needs to get closer, she can do it from midair. We can make her invisible again and go from there. Actually, I'd have to be the one to do that. You can make her invisible. I can make her invisible even through spell casting or attacks. We'll have a conversation about that one later. But it's good. It's also good to think of any obstacle course sort of situation we can set out. I'm gonna be busy out there.
I'm also just imagining.
Yes. Well, we
chased.
we have things to be doing, so all of you are going to actually have to provide us with dinner for a change. Grab you. I'm going to need that hand someday, and Ree's already got the other one in marriage.
All right, Hazel. I think I guess we're
Yeah, I can make normal food without melting everyone's faces. Give me like
20 minutes.
What's that recipe take? If I triple it, and I just walk off, like cogitating at the math as I walk off.
Cogitating the math, I love it.
Yeah, it. Given you have help from the unseen servants,
very easy to triple, quadruple, or quintuple any recipe for the quantity of people here.
Yes, you wind up. I'm thinking you were talking meat pies, so you were clearly very invested in the meat pies. So it's meat pies for most, and vegetable-only version for Rylan.
Yeah, Rylan's is brought out full on, like, last but certainly very much not least, behold! This thing is mushroom and every single, like, this is calorie and nutrient dense. Hits your stomach like a damn bowling ball.
Somewhere in the middle of Hazel's cooking, and Clarity is watching this and also making copious notes. Somewhere in the middle of this, Remy is ushered into this new room that Alice has designed and gone, okay, the stand over there, cast wall of fire, and we'll go from there. There may be muttering. Don't mind me, that's just the mathematical underpinnings of the universe. Actually, should we call Clarity in here? But Alice is it actually takes wing, so it's Hey, Clarity, you want to hear the mathematical underpinnings of the universe? Hazel, the pies are in the oven, so
Pies are good. They're already in the oven. Go, 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 go.
yeah, you all you had to say was pies are, and the only reason LSA beats Clarity is because dope monk shit.
Rogue wave dashing.
And yeah, so Remy has minor audience when Kosk Wall of Fire,
Mhm.
Cherie muttering, and you're all in the privileged position of seeing an entire wall of fire dissipate into basically sort of glowy orange red lines and into a paper. Excuse me. That worked out better than expected. You should all be incredibly grateful I make an obscene amount of money. This sort of thing is expensive. Hands it to Alice.
Because that spells 200 gold worth of powdered diamond plus the scroll cost would be at least. Jeez.
Yeah, but Gold Dragon is her boss.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
That's why. That's still an obscene amount of money.
To be fair, it's not even amount. Even you guys wouldn't quite flinch at that amount of money. You just need to remember to get her her fair share of whatever you end up looting at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Barnabas was watching that or not.
He wasn't.
What
He was keeping
doing?
an eye on the pies. As a backup.
So he's mostly keeping an eye on Hazel.
You know.
At one point, I half jokingly moved towards the hot sauce. I jokingly moved towards the hot sauce. Just block.
No, it just the closer your hand gets, the louder the warning noise.
I'm making normal pies. I'm messing with you.
I know, but you can still probably use like bovine grunting theremin with how close you can get to the hot sauce for a minute or two.
We need to do that as like a whole performance thing. See if we can stun lock the bards.
Then it probably hits you both. The bards would want the hot sauce. Well, one of the bards would want the hot sauce.
I mean, obviously one of them wants it desperately, given... Okay, look, I'm just gonna pop the cap on one of them, and it's like one of the aura ones. Seriously, sniff this.
It's only held in your general direction, and I am going to need you, with advantage, to make a con save. Yeah. The only reason, though, is because the only reason you can cope with that, though, is because what that 9 would have been what would have happened if you hadn't had an echo about 10 feet further back, and then so from that distance you can smell that you would not have been able to cope from where it was.
That's a condiment, not a way to subdue people.
To be fair, I imagine Ravnica has something akin to pepper spray. That is way beyond pepper spray.
Chemical warfare.
And Alice could probably just drink this stuff. Hell, I could drink this stuff.
Pity your poor digestive system.
Yeah, we lived through it. None of you do, for some reason.
I'll say, coming back with this all being done, Palor, the sun god, has blessed her digestive system. And mine.
I get it. Y'all cheat. Makes sense.
Actually, to be fair, I don't think it's so much necessarily the blessing from mine. It's just, I would have starved otherwise. I don't think you can call it cheating when your grandfather is going, I want her to live.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Plus, you're kind of made of radiance in the first place, on one level or another.
Yeah, that too, but keep in mind, I did not know that at the time.
You did not. Doesn't mean.
When I met them, I thought I was just really weird variant human, and I hid the wings for a while.
Yeah, somebody had basically been living under a metaphorical rock.
Well, yeah, when the first reaction to you showing the wings is being chucked off an airship tower, you get a little touchy about that kind of thing.
Entirely understandable. It just you wound up as a result of that under a metaphorical rock, and then we saw that and had a religious experience.
Well, yeah, to be fair, it's entirely you that I came out from under that rock. I didn't show off. I didn't show off with the wings until I had to, because I healed you after you got swallowed up by that burrowing maw. Remember?
Yeah. Being in the stomach of things is gross.
Yeah, I don't know that as well as Darvin does.
Pa-
How much burn lichen am I going to have to add to this?
I didn't add any, so probably as much as you would to anything else you would turbo spice.
Fair enough. I just wanted to make sure, because I know it's normally frowned upon to doctor other people's cooking, and I probably will take one bite without it, but at the same time, I like my burn lichen.
This is honestly, if I had the capacity to tweak yours separately, I would, but I had to go fast.
Fair enough.
Plus side though, it's sort of almost designed to have add-ons attached by the consumer here and there.
Okay, fair enough. And yeah, sitting down to dinner, it's clarity going, I I noted it all down, but I still don't understand any of it.
And yeah, everybody's getting dire, like, could be having my mom's meat pie right now. This is just the most calorically dense thing you've had in weeks. Like, for it being about yay big, still hits your stomach like a bowling ball. Including the purely veggie one that Rylan gets. I'm just eagerly watching everybody.
Sure he is. Is the crust supposed to be this dense?
In this case, yes. It's probably the only thing keeping the rest of it in there. You should see how much.
No, I'm looking at how much, but I also would have thought that the bowl would.
No, you like I put it in bowls because it was they were there. Normally, wouldn't be in a bowl.
Ah,
That'd be just flat on the plate.
I'm assuming.
If you even have a plate, some people, if you bake them the right shape, just hold the whole thing and chomp into it. A lot of the juice goes everywhere, but
But that wastes the juice.
exactly. It's why better on a plate, or in this case, in a bowl, so it doesn't try to escape.
So the crust, suet?
Sorry.
Did you make the crust with suet? Probably yes, but
Processing.
probably yes, butter's expensive.
Yeah. Would have had. Yeah.
That's probably why the additional weight. When we make this sort of thing in Ambia, we tend to use butter.
Yeah. Back home, that's worth almost its weight in silver.
Yes, that may well change.
Yeah. Guess using butter is going to be way more common.
Now that you're thinking about it, you are thinking that Twilly has occasionally lamented only having like lard to use.
An entire rant about lard.
Well, same basic thing, honestly. When you it a lot of flavor comes in which kind of fat, frankly, is used. So you get a much denser dough, pastry, whatever, if you're using lard than if you're using butter. And I think with pastry made from lard, you can't. We make our
Doesn't
flaky
fold, does it?
we make our flaky pastry by rolling it out very thin, folding it, then rolling it again small several times. So you still get a very stable, but also very flaky pastry. I drink
Kitty.
it. I am choosing to believe that this is Michigan attempting to to delicious his way into Hazel's pie.
Look at this furry criminal.
Delicious. But I drink it. But yes, you have a feathery, furry invader. Delicious.
And I'm just gonna start almost just feeding the little goober.
Nope, nope, nope.
You don't even have to ask this time. You did an awesome today.
Thank you. Nope, nope, nope.
Quite.
So okay, I'm looking for potential prisoners. A temple to set this rune thing on. Best route. Avoiding the temple. Anything else you think I should be looking for? People of interest, how they live in general, that kind of thing. It might be important, I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, obviously, if you get any sense of Bahamut, or rather Tiamat herself, uh, infiltrating spiritually, flee. Also, be wary, we don't know where that shadow creature is.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's as much for you as anything else, Rylan. If it See, there are two possibilities thinking about it. If there is that shadow thing, on one level, the kobolds, etc., might see that as the shadow creature. The shadow creature might see it as competition.
Yeah.
I had not considered that.
I don't know which would be more dangerous.
Mm. Yeah, the possible choice probably wouldn't have much at that point either.
Well, you would have to be following me within like 10 feet, and I'm going to be aerial.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Not 30 feet still, yeah.
I think at this point we're going to have to stick with the shadow thing would need the kobolds to tell it. And why would they? One thing they don't seem to know that much about, beyond some of the obvious, is what our magics are.
Mm-hmm.
Bahamut is off because, well, they'll know. The rest of us with godly magics, it's not our god, as far as they would see it. Clarity, I don't know what they'd make of archfey magic.
Good question.
Probably kill it with fire, honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably not be charmed.
Well, my lady does tend to be a little chaotic. And they're probably not really interested in pink and sparkly. Yeah, Rylands is the magic most likely to get me by undetected. But it does mean I'm gonna have to do the scroll last. Because is yours invisibility or greater invisibility?
Just the regular invisibility, so it would drop when you it would drop when you put the scroll down.
No,
When you cast the spell, rather.
Yeah, so I'll leave that until last and rely on speed at that point. Or disguise self, or both. At that point, a little blip of Matha magic and God magic. Hopefully I'll be gone by the time they notice, and they can't see invisible runes anyway. At worst, they'll think we're spying another way.
Mm.
I think. Whereas I could just set it on the roof. Take them a while to even notice.
Yeah.
Depending on how open their sights are at that point. That's the problem. There's just so many ways to see things.
Mm.
But this is probably the best we're going to get. So, let's go. So, yeah. That would generally be...
Alright.
Yeah, because
If you're heading out again,
we're at that time, is what I was going to say. So, keep that in mind. I'm sure it's probably the same Death Ward thing again, which I'm making a note of now so that I've got it in the recording. So in 2 weeks' time, hoping we've got everybody, we'll do the scanning, the scouting, the map, and hopefully getting through the Kobold City in one piece. So, see you guys.